Hello everybody, it's Goknath from the Crack with Gokulnath YouTube channel. So guys, today we're going to see on how to solve 1 to the power of infinity form which comes under limits. So guys, as you know, we have 7 indeterminate forms. Out of that, 1 to the power of infinity form is one of the indeterminate form. So guys, in today's session, I'm going to tell on how to solve and find out the value of this 1 to the power infinity form. So let me start to say about this 1 to the power of infinity form. So let me first say what is this 1 to the power of infinity form, and let me say when you will get 1 to the power of infinity form. That's what I'm going to say first. Now, for example, let me write a limit. Let me write a limit like limit of x tends to a of f of x to the power of g of x. This is the limit which I am writing. So this is the limit which I am writing, where your limit of x tends to a and your base is f of x and power is g of x. So limit of x tends to a of f of x to the power of g of x. This is what I am writing. Now, when we solve this limit using a direct substitution method, and if you get 1 to the power infinity, then this is what we call as 1 to the power infinity form. Just when you solve this limit and if you want to find out the value using a direct substitution method, you just put x as a in this both base and your power. When you put, if you get 1 to the power of infinity, then this is something which we call as 1 to the power infinity form. As simple as that. Now, when you will get 1 to the power of infinity, that is only possible when your limit of x tends to a of f of x is equal to 1, then only your base will be 1. Correct now? If your limit of x tends to a of f of x is 1, then only you will get base as 1. And when limit of x tends to a of g of x is equal to infinity, then only you will get the power as infinity. Correct now guys? Because your g of x is only the power, and that is when your power will be infinity using a direct substitution method. So limit of x tends to a of f of x should be 1, then only your base will be 1. And limit of x tends to a of g of x should be infinity, then only your power will be infinity, and that is when you will get the form as 1 to the power infinity, which is an indeterminate form. I hope that makes you clear. And guys, these two statements or these two conditions are kind of obvious. This also because I don't need to say these things, but in order to make you a deeper understanding, I am saying this. These things are quite obvious. That's why I am saying this. Limit of x tends to a f of x should be 1, and limit of x tends to a of g of x should be infinity. Then only you will get the 1 to the power of infinity form. I hope now that makes you clear. Now we have seen about when you will get 1 to the power of infinity form. Now let us see how to solve this 1 to the power of infinity form and how to break this indeterminate form. So let me start to see about it, guys. Now I will rub this. As we know, we are getting limit of x tends to a of f of x to the power of g of x as a 1 to the power of infinity form. In order to break this indeterminate form, how would you solve this? Listen very carefully, guys, because the very important part which I am going to say, even in JEE main they ask these type of questions. So how would you do? Listen carefully. First write e to the power. First write e as your base. Whenever you have 1 to the power of infinity form, just write e as base. Then put your same limit only, and x tends to the same value only, which is x tends to a. Guys, for this limit only I am writing. Don't think that for any other limit I am writing. For this same limit only I am writing how to solve this 1 to the power of infinity form. Now, same limit only. E to the power same limit only, and your x tends to same value only. Then what you need to do is subtract 1 from f of x. Subtract 1 from f of x and then multiply it with g of x. what is the basic thing which I am doing is e to the power limit of x tends to the same value which is a, and subtract 1 from your base which is f of x minus 1, and multiply this difference with your power which is g of x. This is what our 1 to the power infinity solving part says. Whenever you have 1 to the power of infinity form, use this form, and this is a very important part. And guys, I hope you guys would know what is this E, right? Euler's number, Euler's constant we say, right? That you guys must know. Even 10th standard you learned. So E is Euler's number. So E to the power limit of x tends to a of base minus 1 into the power. So limit of x tends to a of f of x, which is inside value, that is base, subtract 1, then multiply with the difference with g of x, which is your power. This is what our 1 to the power of infinity solving part says. Now guys, make a note of it because a very useful part. Even in JEE mains, they ask these questions. Then of course it shows us you should be good at it. So please make a note of it, guys. Now let us solve one question based on this 1 to the power of infinity form, because in mathematics without problem means it will not be make a sense, right? That's why we can solve the problem based on 1 to the power of infinity form. So until then, make a note of it, guys. The things which I told is very important. So that's all, guys. I had teach you the theory part, which is the concept. Now let us see one problem based on this 1 to the power of infinity form. So guys, let us solve one problem based on this 1 to the power of infinity form. The question is limit of x tends to 0 of sin x by x to the power of sin x by x minus sin x. So guys, what all people first think to do is they first put x as 0 and they will find out whether they are getting finite value or an indeterminate form. So when you put x as 0, that means by the direct substitution method, you will get the value of the limit as 1 to the power of infinity, which is an indeterminate form. If I solve the limit using a direct substitution method, by putting your x as 0, then you will get the value of the limits as 1 to the power of infinity, which is an indeterminate form. And now only I taught you on how to solve this indeterminate form, which is 1 to the power of infinity. So what I thought limit of x tends to a of f of x to the power of g of x, when this limit is 1 to the power of infinity based on the direct substitution method, that means when you put x as a, if you get 1 to the power of infinity, then this indeterminate form can be break down by your simple method, which is known as e to the power of limit of same value of x tends. So x tends to a only, same value only x tends, then your f of x minus 1. Just you will subtract 1 from your base and multiply the difference with your power. This is what I told few minutes before. Which is Euler's constant, which is Euler's number to the power of limit of x tends to a of f of x, which is base minus 1 into the power, which is g of x. This is what I told. Now using this, I can solve this limit simply. So guys, before solving this, let me say how you will get 1 to the power of infinity. How you will get 1 to the power of infinity means, listen carefully, we are having sin x divided by x, right? When you limit of x tends to 0, then sin x divided by x will be 1. That will be 1 because that is basic standard limit which you guys learned in your limits chapter. When limit of x tends to 0, your sin x divided by x will be 1, guys. Please never ever forget this because it's a very important part. Because in JEE mains mock test session and all, I solved some of the limit question mostly based on this standard limit only. That's why I'm saying don't just leave out this standard limit. So limit of x tends to 0 of sin x divided by x will be always 1. That is how your base is 1. So when you put x as 0 on the power, you will get infinity. That's kind of obvious. Now using this method of solving your 1 to the power of infinity, I would solve this by e to the power of limit of x tends to a, which is x tends to 0, because your limit of x tends to 0 only, same value only x also tend. When we are using the 1 to the power of infinity solving part, just using this formula into base minus 1. So guys, in this limit, your f of x is sin x divided by x and your g of x is sin x divided by x minus sin x. That's all, right? That's all. So your f of x is the base is sin x divided by x, and g of x, which is power, and that is sin x divided by x minus sin x. So here we are having f of x minus 1, which is base minus 1, which is nothing but sin x divided by x minus 1. Because the f of x is only sin x divided by x, when you want to subtract 1 here also. Correct na? Now into the power, which is g of x. What is g of x? That is sin x divided by x minus sin x. Just use your 1 to the power of infinity solving method, which is e to the power of limit of x and say f of x minus 1 into g of x. Just by using this, I have found f of x minus 1 into g of x. That's all. Now, I will take my duster, guys. When you rub this, what you will get is, when you rub this, then solve this. When you solve, what you will get is limit of x tends to 0 only. Then when you find the LCM and find out this value, what you will get is, I think you will get is sin x minus x divided by x. Just solve it, guys. Just I am solving the inside value. How I am solving means sin x divided by x minus x divided by x. This is what you will get when you solve using your LCM method. Then your g of x is sin x divided by x, same only. Sin x divided by x minus sin x. Just I am replacing this f of x minus 1 as this form, which is sin x minus x divided by x, is a basic thing. Now listen carefully. We are having a form like sin x divided by x. Correct na, guys? The path which is circled looks like a form of sin x divided by x, where your limit of x tends to 0. If limit of x tends to 0, then your sin x divided by x will be always 1. That's a standard limit which I keep saying. So sin x divided by x will be 1 when your limit of x tends to 0. When your x tends to 0, then sin x divided by x will be 1. So if your sin x divided by x is 1 means I can leave out this term because already it is 1, right? Anyway, 1 means nothing gonna happen. So this value will be 1. Now what will be sin x minus x divided by x minus sin x? That will be minus 1. Sin x minus x divided by x minus sin x will be minus 1. So I can write this Euler's constant as e to the power of limit of x tends to 0 of 1. 1 is what? Sin x divided by x, when limit of x tends to 0 will be 1. So 1 into minus 1, because sin x minus x divided by x minus sin x is minus 1. So 1 into minus 1 will be minus 1 only. Then limit of x tends to 0 of minus 1. So guys, even though we are having limit, your inside value nothing gonna change. So you will get it as e to the power of minus 1, which is nothing but 1 by e. Correct now? This would be the answer. So guys, because limit of x tends to 0 of minus 1, even though we are having a limit, your inside value is minus 1 only. Even though we have limit means nothing gonna happen because that's a constant. It is not a function. We are just having minus 1, that is why I am writing it as e to the power of minus 1. E to the power of minus 1 can be written as 1 by e, or you can say the answer as e to the power of minus 1. Now you guys will ask, how I got the sin x minus x would be x minus sin x as minus 1. That's by your factorization method. Can't I write this as minus of x minus sin x divided by x minus sin x? Can't I write like this? So what I am doing is I am just writing sin x minus x as minus of x minus sin x. I can write like that now. That's a basic thing. Sin x minus x can be written as minus of x minus sin x. Anyway, it will give us sin x minus x. And denominator, I am writing this value, which is x minus sin x. So this x minus sin x, this x minus sin x will get cancelled and you will get the answer as minus 1. This is the basic factorization method. Even a 7th or 6th standard student can tell the value of this numerator denominator by solving using a factorization method, and that will be minus 1, and that's how I am saying this value will be minus 1. This sin x minus x will be x minus sin x will be minus 1, and sin x divided by x will be 1 because of your limit of x tends to 0, which is a standard limit. So this will be nothing but limit of x tends to 0 of minus 1, limit of x tends to 0 of minus 1, anyway it will be minus 1, and that's how your answer is 1 by e. So that's all, guys. That's all. So what is the most important thing which I use this question is your standard limit. Limit of x tends to 0 of sin x divided by x will always give us 1. And next thing which I use is 1 to the power of infinity form. So guys, I hope you guys would have understood the concept, and I hope you guys would have enjoyed the solving. So that's all, guys. That's all about the concept of the question. So thank you. Make education simple.